Waiting for what, exactly?
I'll thank you to leave me be, you old bat.
Oh, you think you can speak that way to a... Well, suffice to say it, I've got my eye on you, Baron.
I am a duke.
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him. Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say. But it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicile. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest... You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cry. Medora's the name. Retired. Or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side. By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles. Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped me. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. I've been scouting Sicile for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the counselor. But it seems you've got all the help you need, haven't you? More's the pity. We could have beheaded 100 Source Yetis, more than I'd hoped, comrade. There's Mayor Cecil's doings, and on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow. You mean you don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't... Now, don't get me wrong. I think the mayor's a decent sort. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, I suspect an illegal Source artifact or substance is at the root of it, but exactly what or who... Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I bet my sword he's a loose-lipped fishmonger let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions. Well past midnight each time. Hardly the habit of an innocent...
Once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to my match is when I linger over long...
You say you will take me under your wing, but I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears? And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind. The wise godwolf Amira raised the child thrice among her litter. So in truth, this is a relief. Your world is made fine, my friend, but I will stay far away from this screech woman. Perhaps among the crowd at the alehouse is better.
I'll tell you, you sure does. Hunter's greetings. So, have you changed your mind about venturing forth, shield to shield against the Well, you know the old expression.
A fantastic plan! With 3 source hunters working in tandem.
Another source hunter on the team will make us...
That's the spirit. Listen closely now.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend. Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to my match is when I linger over the rock while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's growing all swollen and saffrons, I dare say.
Whatever happened to that truthful, eager imbecile we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough.
Heard any good tales, my friend? What is your expression? This many is company, that many is a... What have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Sicile. Tall as an elf. And my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I am Anna. Jewel in the crown, I've cut 1,000 throats. And baked 1,000 bread rolls. Stolen the crown jewels of the Queen of Iran. When the day comes that I die, the gods will evacuate. I contain multitudes, you see. And I am utterly replete. But then, Source Hunter, you wandered into this tavern. That I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a... I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you. Yes, you must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, yes. I am part of that band of valiant heroes. And ever there must I remain. You must speak with Mendius. He stands right outside this very tavern, and he alone can bring you into our...
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the Distis. Although, it'd be... And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild. Your interest is piqued, I see. I'd suggest a word of warning that those nasty beasts are hardly worth...
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend. Oh, come, darling, don't dither. You must speak with Mendius and join the Fabulous Five immediately. I so long for us to realize our true potential.
I assume you address me for a reason, so go on. Speak. Good. No use.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice. Oh, come, darling, don't dither. You must speak with...
A source hunter? I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts. I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream has been ringing in my ears ever since. Though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and been at the King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine.
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue. How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your... Can I tell you? I suppose I can, and I could. But why would I turn my attention away from this whiskey when Mendius right outside is simply...
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Hearty welcome to the King Crab Inn, and a pleasure to have you. You look like you could use a round or three, so what'll it be? Have a seat and stay a while.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever...
Mind if we keep our voices down over that sensitive subject? That room where it happened, it was rented to a certain woman. Though I regret to say I can't say exactly. She came heavily cloaked, but paid the full sum in advance. I was used to such transactions after many similar concerning a certain Esmeralda. I saw one other figure go into the room that night. Someone tall, built broad like a... I was startled awake by a horrendous hubbub shortly after midnight. I jumped up and... By the time I burst into that room, it was horribly silent. There was only Jake. Whoever done it has escaped through the window. But I saw nary a soul when I looked out. You can bet I hightailed it. Councillor Jake, that poor man. I knew too much about his affairs, you know. Never Esmeralda's longest-standing lover has the audacity to remain lodged at this very inn, you know. He's called the Duke of Ferrol, a high title for a low man. If you haven't yet asked him about it, well, between you and me, things have been rather slow since the names he've had. Pleased to make your acquaintance. All you see before you is the manifestation of my great-grandpappy Horatius Dungeness's noble vision.
Hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for... Yes, she and I have a history. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had her. It's very tragic news.
Greetings, traveler. And may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad blessings... You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what for? Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth. By following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one way, we can each of us live on for a span greater than the number of stars that twinkle within... What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin... She came from on high to we mortals. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life. Ah, for this hallowed information, you must seek an There, among her followers, go on the path to the...
Maybe the lock can be jimmied.
I swear I saw a lady in red upon the beach.
Greetings, greetings. Oh, you are most welcome in my chamber. Customers rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace. That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road travelling alongside... You wouldn't believe some of the things I have seen. Oh yes, a city besieged by the dead isn't even remotely special to me. All the better that it isn't. You have seen them, have you not? Is anything... Punch on perhaps, yes. I have the blood of sorcerers in my...
You should be more careful, madam. I am a hunter, but as luck would have it, I'm not a zealot.
And neither am I. Be advised.
Gods have mercy. I talked openly about sorcery in front of a source hunter. What a fool I am. Thank you, oh compassion. No need to worry, source hunter dearest.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation, but I can't open this door for anyone who hasn't... Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the captain, is he? Well, your reward for...
Looking good. It's official. The Duke of Ferrol is the worst poet in Rivellon.
In his defense, not much rhymes with murder.
And so we meet yet another adulterous harpy. No doubt she's guilty as sin.
Another? I don't know which Cecile you've been turned through, buddy, but this one ain't exactly an adulterous harpy nesting ground.
Greetings, Source Hunter.
Careful, comrade. I think I sense a sorcerer.
Folks say it was Esmeralda who killed Councillor Jake.
Staff of Strength.
Hold! Our enemies have laid a trap.
Before my eyes.
Look out! I see a trap nearby.
Never saw you in the king crab before. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank when I was the owner. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the wreck. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her, and by all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than...
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure. Don't be seduced, comrades.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here. Which one? I've written, Esmeralda, more works of lyrical mastery than I can count. All that letter proves is It's very tragic. Yes, as Jake and Esmeralda had... Which one? I've...
Watch out! I smell...
as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Frightened source goblin.
Actually, I think that's only roast pig.
Ah, yes, yes.
Oh, you haven't left town yet, have you? Jolly good. Join me, why don't you, for a scandalously milky Oh, he's a darling old Tom, isn't he? Paws over tails in love with me, and who can blame him? At the risk of sounding as shallow as a spaniel, I can't but admit my love does not come unconditionally. What if we were to have... Oh, dear Sam, he's such a good old bean. But he does rather reside at the bottom of the scratch.
Slade sharp. I wouldn't trust a cat as far as I could throw it. And I'm a world league cat tosser.
I think I'll sleep by the fire. So there's the rub. I am but a stray, and she is the mayor's cat. Oh, I do understand her, I do. Would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel it was, as bejeweled as the night sky with like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and among the waves it remains, I imagine. Won perhaps by a crab who fancies himself a Caesar with it. If only I...
Leave me be, I have a job to do.
Legion's greetings. I have been informed about your heroics on the beach. Were that I had been there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here. I am Septimus, seventh son in a household of 9, legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Sicile from day one. So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind, steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Sicile. You claim to possess evidence that implicates Lady Esmeralda in the murder of her husband? Well, let's have it then. Let me have a quick read. Wait, what? There's another... I mean, she had an admirer who wanted her to kill her husband, then elope with him? What madness is this? And what questions are those? The Sicilians used to say this was a chosen place. I've fought orcs crazed with blood liquor, withstood assaults by ogres wielding clubs made of human bones and teeth. Aye, I've braved the poisonous...
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my husband. I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about... So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? Oh, don't put stock in the hastily scribbled words of a lovelorn fool. This letter, it was a show of passion. A poorly worded passion I did not echo in the least. The Duke, he's like a spoiled child. He's not a man. He's not like... Starstone? I've never heard of such a thing. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble? Oh, this is all too... Well, what do you want to know? Sicil. They came out of nowhere. Must have been, 2 years ago now? The very heart of winter. I smelt them before I saw them in the night. Torchlight reflected in their eyes like it does in Predators. But...
adamant about her innocence.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
Assure me, dear Septimus, that you haven't been fighting those awful orcs. Bear to imagine something would happen to you.
But don't you worry, my lady. We legionnaires are highly trained soldiers who fear neither orc nor demon.
Oh, but what...
You there, cut it out!
Oh, catch me, for I might faint. Oh.
about setting up the perfect crime.
Esmeralda has interesting taste in literature.
So tell me, Septimus, would your wife or sweetheart be compensated by the Legion should tragedy befall you on the battlefield?
I suppose so. But seeing that I'm neither married, engaged, or attached anyway, I've never bothered to.
Polite, handsome, and single. Don't go anywhere tonight, Legionnaire. I'd be afraid alone in the dark. My, what a strong and handsome officer you are, kind Septimus. You must have fought many a battle, am I right? In fact, I bet you're a real war hero.
Oh, I'm no hero, Esmeralda. I'm just doing my duty. For the Legion.
Well, you certainly are my hero. The rock upon which I may rest my weary soul in these trying and troubled times.
Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my...
Where's Jake? Did he finally run off with that white-haired woman? Well... Esmeralda's a funny character. She's always got ham on the brain. I've never been inside her secret room, but I...
Sigurd's strength in me.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
so that's what that did.
Esmeralda carries lots of cuts of meat.
A bloodied dagger. Could this have been involved in the crime?
It certainly piques one's interest, doesn't it?
It's heating up.
Drink and gamble, that's all.
The hunter returns. I hope you are here to shop rather than sleuth. The hunter returns. I hope you are here to shop rather than Starstone. Do you mean to imply he collected something? So, what piece of irrefutable evidence are you about to present me with this time? Oh, that horrid tome of ill repute. It isn't mine, it was Jake's. He was a politician, don't you see? Always on the lookout for plotting rivals. Perhaps it is you who should explain your presence in my cellar. And the dagger? It's simple. What'll you think of next? Accusing me of bashing him over the head with a frying. But all of it is circumstantial. I've a perfectly logical explanation for every piece of so-called evidence against me, and yet you've been trailing me like a bloodhound. Over the last few months, Jake grew distant. Distant and dark somehow. Something in him. It all began the day he met Evelyn, Master Theliron's apprentice. She healed him of what we all believe to be a fatal wound he suffered hunting boars. I think he became... In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she belongs to that sect. You know, I never liked her from the moment I met her. Men can... She hails from Silverglen, a village in the forest north of Sisal. How she made it past the undead without a legioness. If anyone killed my Jake, it must be her. She had her claws in him from... I am Esmeralda. So tell me, Septimus, would your wife or sweetheart be compensated by the Legion should tragedy befall you on the battlefield?
I suppose so, lady. But seeing that I'm neither married, engaged, or attached in any way, I've never bothered to inquire.
Polite, handsome, and single. Don't go anywhere tonight, Legionnaire. I'd be afraid alone in the dark.
So many dead civilians.
The very fact that you seek me out once more is in itself a token of wisdom. You can, and indeed you must. But alas, I was not buried with a printed version of that blueprint of genius that is my Do you truly feel you are ready to prove? Your refusal speaks greater. The very fact that you seek me. Do you truly? Then we shall proceed. Between life and death, death is the greater force. So argues the clergyman. Is he correct?
Indeed he is.
Quite so.
Let us proceed. Life is life's own goal. The question that is itself the answer. Good. Now...
Lamb chops.
Not entirely, no.
I concur.
Last query. Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear. Death I dub thee life's equal.
Where are you?
Your undoing.
So it is.
Hopes and up. A combination of words I've long since forgone to couple, let alone put into action. And before me stand... He shall not go unpunished. Perhaps death itself shall teach you more about the philosophy of life.
Lamb chops.
Beat them all in a blow.
Mighty staff.
The very fact that you seek me out once more is... Do you truly feel you are ready? Then, between...
Of course not.
Correct.
Let us proceed. The very fact that you seek me... Do you truly feel you are... Then we shall proceed. Between life and death, death is the greater force. So argues the...
Indeed he...
Quite so.
Let us proceed. Life is life's own...
Not entirely, no.
I concur.
Last query. Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear.
Your salvation.
Indeed.
Hopes and up. A combination of words. He shall not go unpunished.
Daemon, daemoni. Good. No.
More about the philosophy of life.
Wow, that dead sheep smells pretty great. I mean, wow. Join you? No way. Without my best friend, the most Esmeralda. Ugh, terrible smell. Like flowers and soap. Not awesome. Ugh, hated her. Jake has the best smell. Jake was awesome, and she didn't like Jake, so I'm pretty sure she's the worst thing that ever lived. Let me get a whiff. Oh, take this away. It smells like every rich man in town except Jake. No, there's definitely not a hint of Jake here.
Seven keep you. Peace be with you, traveller.
This dog we met, how true a creature he is. How loyal and unwavering in its affections. Animals, dog and deer, elk, this kind, this trusty beast. He is man's best friend, though man does not deserve one. Wise words. To approach humanity with the same I know, for I have lain on silken cushions in marble palaces, and I have lain on wet leaves in soggy forests. Vastly do I, in the animal kingdom only one is free. Beware the wolf, yes, this dog. It is a creature worthy of you.
May the seven keep you.
Oh, it goes to and fro, the city's youth. They hustle and... Oh, how nice it is of you. The very... Pray, let me be forward with you. Oh, sapling rose. Oh, leaf, I am but an aged elf that has seen the years parade in long succession. Gladly shall I tell you more. You would listen to my grievances, guide me towards untroubled realms. Oh, hot spiced wine and a snug little room awaits us on the King Crab's first floor.
Looks like the mortician is rather suspicious about Jake.
What could Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, or Evelyn have to do with it?
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? This here's my family business. Yes, there's been a Roberts escorting stiffs into the next life. It's a sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all, I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. How do you... Ah, the ledger, is it? Fool was I to leave it in the open. Or perhaps I even looked forward to being found out. Well, plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know? And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping. And told me to tell him, and only can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble. Unless he knew something the rest of us... I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary. And there was scenes she could barely contain her thoughts. That there was something thrilling about to happen. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched. Lured me outside, claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed... That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. That old bag's as fat as a heifer. She won't miss that sheep for a moment. So, what's the bad news? More ask 1,000 times if you like. I'd rather risk a flight to the north than hand over...
Like a cake.
To leave the city is to venture into danger.
I need to dry off.
Be careful, Source
Soaked
Hunter.
to the skin.
Tell me,
tavern, old friend.
Ah, you have come. Yes, that is most satisfactory. Begone, brittle mask of age. Hear me now. The game, yes! A game of blood and brutality, of death and dexterity. The elves of Gandavon, they lived in peace. Oh, yes. But one night, all undone. Every last one of us. Except for me, the midnight rambler, away from the city. I may be frail, a withered grey, but the wealth of kings is mine. Countless assassins have ministered to the vengeance that is my want. And now is almost, I have tracked her down. By the curse of the spine spear I have. She does not know her ill-shapen sun is setting fast. Color the dusk red, O sword of youth. Bloody the day with the bramble sap that runs through the veins of Victoria. Bring me the amulet that clings to her flesh, soon to fade. And yes, Victoria. The orcs of Gazuldaga. Her name is that of a woman, her employment that of a civilized being. But by the fork of Barbara Man, Victoria, librarian, daughter, adopted child of Cecil. Soon the last will be beaten. Beaten like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. All hail, Grog! All hail his hot-steeled instruments.
That was quite the radical change we witnessed. I never would have thought that the benign old man we met outside would turn out to be a vengeance-driven aficionado of assassins.
He is as much a savage as those orcs. And how is Victoria guilty of her tribe's crime?
Indeed.
Beaten like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. Here I wait for thee. Yes, yes.
To what do I owe the repeated pleasure, Source Hunter? Certainly, what would you like to know? The Councillor, from what I can tell, it seems to be a simple case. Far be it from her to tell her master what in the seven's name she's up to. The girl flew from here like she just heard the location of the Philosopher's Stone. She even left her pouch unattended the next. She usually keeps it within sight at all times. Very strange. I'd try her house, for starters. It's not far from here. I'll mark the location on your map.
This is valuable.
Somewhere. I only want to ruin this particular batch of party elixir with tools wormwood.
soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far. I know it's here somewhere. I wouldn't want to ruin this particular batch of party elixir with too much wormwood. Soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far. That tone, soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far. I know it's here somewhere. I wouldn't want to ruin this particular batch of party elixir.
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
I suppose your example has inspired me to reach heights I never before envisioned.
That inspiration... So she's got a lair on the beach, does she?
Perhaps that's where she stashed Jake's body.
Sir! No, sir!
Sorry, sir. That's it, troops. Train up while you can. Land at any moment.
Ah, the Source Hunter. Oh, joyous. Whom would you have the Legion arrest? Oh, still not finished with that son. It was stolen? Gods, what? He has a lot to answer for. What is in her diary certainly seems to implicate she dabbles in sorcery. Well, have you found any incriminating evidence against her? If so, let's... So, you found a blooded knife in Esmeralda's cellar. Guess you can scratch the top candidate off your list of how to plan the perfect murder. Really? Really? The knife, the book, the letter, they seem harmless enough by themselves, but in conjunction they do paint a pretty grim picture. Fine then. Surely you have exhausted all the evidence that was to be found? No! A good bloodhound knows when the trail has gone cold. Ah! The Source Hunt. Oh, still not surely you have exhausted all the evidence that was to be found? No! A good bloodhound knows when the trail has gone cold. So you know it was taken, and you claim to know by whom.
That's it, troops. Train up while you can. The next orcish strike could land at any moment.
Source Hunter, welcome, welcome, by all means. Of course, I hope your investigation fares. His body is gone. Seems too improbable to be true, but nevertheless, you're on. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. All the more dangerous. What? I'd never. If you must know, I was merely... What a delight she is. The temperament of a tiger, the grace of a leopard, and the manners of a lady all rolled into one. A perfect puss, if ever there was one.
again!
It's heating up.
Good luck out there, Hunter. Evil lurks beyond Syseal's ramparts. Those bony brutes will never make it inside these walls. Excellent. Let's keep it that way.
I'm drenched! I'm drenched! An invigorating fight that was. And what a killing blow you delivered.
Cheers! Yes, I handled myself like the best of the best, even if I do say so myself.
Oh, there. Of my will.
man!
Sweet relief. As good as a new penny.
Back on my feet again. Ah!
Oh, I'm tripping. Into the fray once more.
spray.
Looks like more of the Legionnaires sent to investigate the lighthouse.
Stay sharp, or we'll end up the same. Sweet relief!
feel better already.
Stitch in time, hey, my friends?
Don't touch that grave unless you're prepared.
Looking good.
Well, folks, having a bully day? I'm having a bully day. Pushing, pulling, lifting. Look at them muscles, huh? Just like my days at the fair. I used to sail the 7 seas with the best of them. Better than the best of them. But found my true... Now those were swell times. How people marveled at my feats of strength. Now, I'm not a violent, but you know there's no harm in a little roughhousing now and again. Putting on a show for the roaring crowd. Plenty challenged me. Scrawny against brawny. Could have been an... I'm gonna summon an item. Something only Snorri himself could smash. And if you can manage to break it in 35 seconds, you'll have won the challenge. Go getting any pie in the sky hope so. Noodle arms? So, what are you made of?
I assume you would... And so let the hunt...
used to... Now, but you're scrawny. I'm gonna... Noodle arms? So, what are you made of? Just as I suspected. Let Snarry show you how it's done. Ha! That was easy as cherry pie. What else have you got, huh? Put 'em up.
I cast from the depths of my will. Chill to the bone.
What a deluge.